Hey everyone, welcome back to some Real Fuel Fishing. I'm Jared, and today's episode is a little bit of a challenge. I got challenged by Chris over at Bugley's Keeping It Real to try to pick my top 5 bass fishing lures, and I will admit it was difficult. Here in Illinois, fishing is always changing. Every week or two, fishing's different, so it was hard to pick 5 lures that I generally have tied on all year round. Um, but I know I do have 100% confidence in all these baits, and when I do tie them on, I tie them on for specific reasons, and I know I'm going to catch fish. So, not cocky, nothing. They're just tested thoroughly by myself, and I know I can catch fish on these baits, and hopefully they can catch fish for you. And I know there's a couple of them that everyone should have in their arsenal or have at least tried before. So, I'm a finesse fisherman at heart, and I love topwater as well, but put a medium light spinning rod in my hand, and a couple of these are just 100% guaranteed to fish. So I'm going to start off with the finesse fishing. First one is a Ned Rig. You will all have probably heard of the Ned Rig. It's just a little Ned head jig head, and then a different type of plastic rigged up like this. And I mean, essentially what this does is just sits on the bottom like this. So sometimes I use the EWG net heads, sometimes I just use the normal net heads, and always 1/10 ounce. It's perfect for what I do. Sometimes I'll go to the 1/6 or the 1/8 if I'm throwing it in heavy current or something like that, and I need to get it down farther. But the Ned Rig, man, I'm telling you right now, it has caught both my PBs for largemouth and smallmouth. So this bait will catch anything up, for me personally, up to 6 pounds. So these will catch 3 to 5 pounders, guaranteed. And not all the time. It catches a lot of smaller fish because it's a smaller profile bait. But right time, right moment, you can catch a giant on this. And this is my favorite color. This is Molten Craw. This is a Z-Man product. And it's black on one side and copper orange on the other side with red, white, blue flake. And it just gets the job done for me in my area. So this is a bait that I have 100% confidence on. It will catch biggins and it will catch fish. Second one is something that you've all seen. The Wacky Worm. I use Trocar wacky hooks or octopus hooks or circle hooks, whatever you want to call it. I love that surgical point. Trocar makes phenomenal hooks. And this is a yum dinger. This is a 4-inch yum dinger. This is Carolina pumpkin and chartreuse. This is my favorite color. I have these in 4, 5, 6 inches. I think they make a 3-inch, and if it's not wacky, it's Texas rigged. A lot of times I just do weightless. This is usually on spinning gear. If you're adding bullet weights or doing stuff like that, then you got to get more to bait casting. But this is another one that I have 100% confidence in. The color, what I do with it, how I fish it. Cast it out there, let it sink for like 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, and then just let it flutter in the water, and it will attract fish, especially in these little residential ponds and things like that. When you're pond hopping, throw it into a corner under a dock, something like that, and let it do that action for you, and it'll catch fish for sure. Then the next one is something that I've been using for about 5 years, maybe 6. I think since they started these, since they made these. This is the Megabass Dark Sleeper. Another bait that I have 100% confidence in. I always have it in my bag and almost always have it tied up year round. It is a great bait, super universal. You could bounce it or drag it on the bottom like a jig. You could retrieve it back to you in that paddle tail action. Looks a lot like a goby. They have different colors. They look like bluegills for around here. They look like smaller bait fish, panfish, whatever. This is my favorite color. This is the black, blue, pearl. That's what I call it. And I think it's got a real fancy Japanese name that starts with an M that I'm not even going to try to butcher. But black, blue, pearl is what I call it. And this is a 3/8 ounce. Sometimes I use the 1/4 ounce. Sometimes I use the 1/2 ounce. Generally, I'll throw that on spinning gear. Sometimes I throw it on a bait caster if I don't have a spinning rod with me. So that is number 3, Megabass Dark Sleeper. The next one is a Jackhammer. And I'm going to throw this with it because this is the trailer that I use. This is the Keitech paddle tails. These two paired together are just absolutely deadly. I've been using the Jackhammer since they came out as well. I will never go back to a different bladed jig or chatterbait, whatever you want to call it. I will never go back to anything. I only buy these when they're on sale, though. I will cheap out on you and not spend the $20, but I will spend $15 on these easily. I always have a backup or two. Because sometimes the skirt blows out. You could replace the skirts. The hook will never go bad though. The hook is phenomenal, high quality, and as soon as it hits the water, that blade starts moving. It's just an awesome lure. And when you pair it up, put a paddle tail trailer on it like this, electric blue and chartreuse, the color combo is like perfect. It's just deadly. It's turning into one of my go-to baits. Always have it on me. Not always tied up, but I always have it on me if I think a bladed jig bite's going to happen. So that's number 4, a Jackhammer. So again, I feel like maybe not the Dark Sleeper, but 3 out of these 4 you guys have used before. So those are the 4. Then the last one is Topwater. It is a river to sea Whopper Plopper. This is the rat color, I call it, but I think it's called Rat-a-tat. And yeah, it's just an awesome bait, fish catching machine. Just the action, the noise. You all know Whopper Ploppers or prop baits. I don't think this is new to anybody, and if it is, I highly recommend go grabbing one. Again, they're a little pricey, but sometimes they go on sale to $10. And there's other brands out there as well. As long as it's got that prop, it's probably gonna do the trick, you know. But river to sea is just high quality. The hooks are always good. I rarely change out the hooks on these. So sometimes I'll change out the hooks on the 60s to get them a little bit bigger. But this is a 90 size and this is a 60 size. I use this in creeks, and then I use the 75s as well in like rivers and creeks sometimes too. But the 90 is generally the size that I'm throwing. This will catch pike too, for sure. You can do the 110s or the 130s and get huge with it, but the 90 is really good for rivers and smaller ponds, things that I do a lot. So I'm throwing this, and it's the rat color, the perch color, or I throw loon or yellowhead because it's got a full black bottom. So I always have a white bottom and a black bottom with me. And this one was tough because this is a bait that I can only throw like 4 or 5 months out of the year. But it just catches so many fish for me, it had to make the top 5. It really did. So those are my top 5. All different types. I mean, the Ned Rig and the Wacky is kind of similar, but all different types of lures and different situations that I use these in. But these baits I have 100% confidence in. And hopefully they can catch you fish as well. If you want to try one of these, or you know, maybe dabble with a dark sleeper, highly recommend all these. And one honorable mention that I do have is a hollow body. I've been using these live target mice for a couple years now, and I absolutely love them because the hooks are closer together and it makes for a really good hook set. But just a frog in general is definitely number 6. It should have made the top 5, but it was just so hard. I catch a lot of fish on frogs. And if I'm not using this, I'm using a wider bodied frog with bigger hooks in different situations. But most of the time I'm using this mouse, and it gets the job done. But again, with Topwater, this is something that same thing, 4 or 5 months out of the year, maybe even less. It's just, I live in Illinois, you know, so it's tough. If I lived in Florida, I'd be throwing this stuff all year round. But so those are my top 5 with the honorable mention, and yeah, so that was the challenge right there. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and made it this far, definitely consider subscribing. Got a bunch of stuff on the channel, bunch of different fishing stuff. So check it out if you're ever bored. Thank you very much for watching.